0, 1. Let's get started.
Alrighty. Dan motherfucking Moulder. Thanks for coming. Hey, of course, mate. Holding pads with the boys at Strikeforce.
Yeah.
Straight night.
Mate, it's that gym is just full of freaks at the moment.
Is it? So is that what you're doing there? You're just like helping the boys out. They're all training for different things, and you
Yeah. I feel like I've got a bit to give back, particularly to my coach.
Yep.
So Mark's still the head trainer there.
Yeah.
He basically took me from nothing to what I was, kickboxing.
Yep.
And now he's just got this group of guys there that are just animals.
And are they all local grown?
So their number one boy is Chad Collins. So he's currently ranked pound for pound number 9 in the world.
Yep.
So it's pretty impressive to have some.
Scoot over a bit.
Pretty impressive you can have someone from Australia.
Yep.
That's competing at that level.
Yep.
And being recognised worldwide as one of the very best.
Yep. So that's world rankings.
That's pound for pound. So
yeah.
So he fights in 5 weeks for his 5th world title.
Yep.
I've been helping a young guy called James Honey.
Yep.
And I really like him. He's just a good dude. He's charismatic. He's tall and lean like me. We had a lot of similarities in the way that we sort of do things, or how I used to do things, and he's just a little bit more refined, obviously.
Yeah.
And then obviously Pete. You know, Pete's come down from Mackay.
Yep.
So I spent a lot of time with Pete in Mackay getting his feet and hands right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he's like grappling.
Yeah.
Freak nature with it.
Yeah.
If he gets his stand up right, I genuinely believe this guy's linked to that.
Yeah. Sick. So Strikeforce is where you were like, you had your whole career at that gym, one gym.
One and done.
Yep. Sick.
Yeah, one and done. There's about I think there's about 20 of us that have got a Strikeforce ring. We actually got the Strikeforce rings, mate, or marked it back in the day for a select few of us. Yeah. So yeah, I've still got that. That sits.
One of your prize.
Well, mate, that sits beside my wedding ring.
No way.
No, I don't wear rings, obviously.
Yeah.
I only own 2 rings. Yeah. I actually own 3 now. I got obviously my wedding ring, Strikeforce ring, and then the old man left a couple of rings for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I only am wearing my wedding ring at the moment because I'm not grappling much.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I might as well wear it while I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as soon as I start grappling, that thing's off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you lose it.
For sure.
Because you got to take it on and take it back off.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, shit.
For sure.
So were you holding pads for those boys? Stuff?
James, Asavo, and Pete.
Yep.
And then there's another guy that's asked me to do. I only go there Tuesday, Thursday.
Yep.
Because Archie trains Tuesday, Thursday.
Life.
Yeah. So I think I'll start going down there Friday afternoons. Archie usually is sitting up to do it. So
you started to like show an interest?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a bit more mature with it and understand that, you know, God-given talent will get you to X, but if you want to go a little bit further, you actually got to train. So
yeah, well, unfortunately, I realised that too late. Like, I'm not that old, but too late in my earlier days because I won a lot early off talent.
Yeah.
And then it took me a long time to realise why I wasn't winning anymore.
Yeah.
But because I know what it takes. I can do it. I've done it.
Yeah.
But I just never did it again. And then later in life, as you mature, you start realising, I know how to train hard. I just wasn't putting in the time that I needed to. Yeah. It's good that he's realising that at that age.
Yeah. I've always been a Gumby at everything. So I've always had to work really hard for it. So work ethic has never it's always come second nature to me.
Mm.
He's been uber talented at everything he's done.
Yeah.
So that initial understanding and fundamental piece has just come naturally to him. And now that he's getting to an age where the other kids are like where I was, they're actually training hard, they're starting to take back over. And he's recognised it. I think he's recognised it at a good time.
Yeah, of course. That's a great age to recognise it.
Yeah, man.
I think from personal experience, I was succeeding too young.
Yep.
And had that exposure to like the success in that too young. I think there's like a happy medium when you're at that that age bracket where you're super influential and you can't really make sense of anything that's going on. And
for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
You take it for granted, huh?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And then, I don't have any regrets, but it's definitely something that I'll try to do with my kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like your work ethic too, like probably rubs off because it's just lead by example. Hey.
Yeah, well, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always trained hard. That's just the way that I've been built.
Yeah.
That's the way
you do. You're an animal.
Yeah. It's fun.
That's good, man. Like, all right, we'll come back full circle, but I mean, we're good mates. We've known each other for a while now.
Absolutely.
It's we talk pretty regularly with each other all the time. I know what you've done and where you've been to an extent, but that's why something like this is so good because we can kind of break it all down in chronological order and go through your pathway to an extent.
Yeah,
I want to bring it right back first because a lot of people probably don't know is you were clubby.
I was
when you were younger.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how serious you took clubbies or anything, but at what age did you transition? Like, so taking through clubbies, like, were you taking that serious at a certain age?
Yeah, definitely. So, in my, I'll break it right back. So, I got into clubbies when I was super young, and I did the NIPA program and made the Queensland teams and did all that sort of stuff. And swimming training every morning, and I did enjoy it. In hindsight, I wish I had started kickboxing earlier because you look back on things, and I would quite literally watch the Van Damme kickboxing movie. I would quite literally watch that every weekend.
When you started kickboxing or before?
No, like when I was a grom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, did the clubby thing. Did take it really seriously. Started training at North Burleigh and then went to Tugun, and then ended up. There was a group of us that went to Palm Beach. Followed one of the coaches there. What were we, second in the open tap? I was only under 16 and under 19. Last year I'm under 16s, and then did the first year under 19s there. Made the Aussie man final, the 16s, made whatever it did in the thing. I think we got fourth in the open tapping.
Yeah,
it was big.
At Palm Beach.
At Palmy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Palmy's not a very competitive club,
mate. It wasn't. There was a group of like 6 or 7 of us that, we just we were all really good friends, and I was a little bit younger than these guys had grown up, and then I kind of just tagged along. I had a guy that I grew up with, Jason Samuelson.
Hey, I know Jason.
Yeah, so
Corey Samuelson used to swim coach me.
So Corey was one of the best men at my wedding.
No way.
Yeah.
So Corey was more like main swim coach when I was like winning, and I was only 13 or 14, but he was like my swim coach.
Yes.
And sort of when he stopped coaching me, that was kind of when it all started going a bit AWOL. Yeah. Because we had a really good relationship. He's a great bloke, Corey. I actually saw him at Yamba the other day, just randomly, and it's like we never had any time apart. We just started getting on great. Yeah, no,
he's older brother.
That's great. Yeah, Jason was the weapon. He was like the swimmer.
He was incredible.
Yeah, wow.
So Jace, I just followed Jay there, and then Jay became my coach.
Yeah.
And then it got kind of political, not from the Palmy side, but from Queensland Surf Life Saving.
Yeah.
Something happened, and it was at Noosa. I think I hit someone with a cuddle or something. Yeah, and I flared up on the beach, and then the officials flared up back, and then it was sort of all on, and the old man wasn't there. The old man had a pretty short fuse, and when he found out, and he kind of flared up too, and then I just said to Dad, I've had enough. This is it. So I did. I just quit.
Yeah, and it gets super political too. So club staff, and it's you can really get and I was as wrapped up as you can be in it.
Yeah,
and it can definitely be a bubble.
it drains your energy.
Yeah,
I mean, for such a sport that could be so pure, there's a lot of people that it would appear that aren't so talented or good at it. They want to get involved.
Yeah,
and they're there for the wrong reasons.
Agreed.
Or it certainly appears that way. I think at heart they're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
but the way that they execute it's sometimes a little bit more.
Yeah, the way I've spoke about it before, my mates who I still have from the clubby days is, I mean, it's a great way to, it's a great upbringing because it instills all, like, when you're waking up early to swim every morning, and it teaches you how to work hard if you want to work hard at a certain thing.
Yes.
Like to be consistent, to be disciplined, and, to train correctly and hard, and
absolutely
train the way you got to train if you want to get better at something.
That ultimately helped me. That sort of embedded those good routines that I sort of just ultimately took over with me.
Yeah.
So from that, I'd had a gutful, and I was surfing all the time anyway. I was hanging out with, I was still hanging out with Jay and Cora, and then there was one guy that I'd always known, who's actually like one of my best mates now.
Mm-hmm.
A guy called Aaron Lee. Mm-hmm. Anyone that hasn't seen or heard of Aaron Lee, in my opinion, and I'm very biased, my opinion, the best fighter that Australia's ever produced, bar none.
Muay Thai?
Yeah, Muay Thai.
Yep.
Muay Thai. We're at the Palmy pub, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing, I'm just surfing." He goes, "Come down to the gym on Monday." So I did. I went down to the gym. That was that.
And how old were you there?
I would have been 19. Yeah.
Which isn't super late, but it's
maybe 18.
Yeah.
Maybe 18.
You're still pretty young then, but you miss those developmental years of, your early teens to like when you hit puberty. In those years, if you're doing a particular sport in those years, that's when you are going to grab onto it and have those like the movement patterns instilled better.
Definitely. It becomes second nature very quickly.
Second nature. Make sure
I think from a striking perspective, if there is a sport that you can pick up later, it is striking. I think grappling is very difficult to pick up later.
Mm-hmm.
I look at what my two boys who have done it, and they've just got fundamentals that they just walked in the gym and it took me weeks to get. They just nailed the first session.
Yes, the movements they just get. Yeah.
So went to the gym on that Monday arvo, met Azzy there, and then.
And that was at Strikeforce?
Strikeforce.
Bang, Strikeforce.
Straight to Strikeforce. Met Mark. Met. There was a bunch of killers in there. And if I'm honest, I walked in young, not arrogant, but certainly confident. Walked in and went, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And, soon enough, it was, I soon learned that you can't have that attitude.
That's definitely a thing I find with the clubby guys because, I mean, they're so athletic and like if the guys have competed at a high level in the clubby scene, they know how to work hard. And then because of that builds confidence, right?
Yeah.
And the clubbies that I grew up with and I've seen transition into other things in life, they do come in a bit hot because they're like, I know how to get good at shit.
Yeah.
And I found that I didn't start grappling until like 25, but I found that has helped me in aspects.
Well, your work ethic is outstanding on that. And that's, you're not dissimilar to myself in regard. We're not the most uber talented people.
No.
But our work ethic will outrate most.
Yeah. And sorry. Go.
No, you're right.
And back to what my point was, grappling more than anything humbled me. And martial arts probably in general. So that's how you found.
Definitely.
I was. Straight away.
For sure. And then going to see. So the first fight show I ever went to. I can't remember whether the team was there or not. Regardless, I went and watched ours, and it was a big fight show. Or back then, it was a big fight show. It's not in nowadays terms. It was still big. But he fought a Japanese guy called Tokyo Joe, I think it was. This guy, bit of a knob, coming out with a rose in his mouth, and all the Larry and fancy stuff. As I punched the absolute piss out of this guy, it was the best thing, and still the best thing I've ever seen in fight scene today. And I remember driving home and saying to Tan, I want to do that. I want to fight. I won't ever be that good, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So were you with Tan then?
I've been with Tan since my first fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she's seen ups, downs, in betweens.
Yeah.
She has seen me at a very, very poor, ugly side, particularly through the weigh-in pieces.
Yeah.
There wasn't the science.
Yeah.
In the weight cutting.
You're just winging it the whole time.
100% winging it. Like I remember me and Pixie, our number one fighter in the gym, we were at the same weight. We were our main sparring partners. And we'd always try something different for every fight.
Yeah.
Like, there was zero science behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trial and error.
100% trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had some dark ones?
Oh, I had some pretty ordinary weight cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were obviously guys a lot better than me on the night. But there was certainly an element there where I just balls the weight cut up to such an extent that it so horrifically affected my performance, because you just can't perform. You see it all coming, but you just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I had some really bad weight cuts.
And when you were going through the early stages, how often were you cutting weight?
So I ended up, I had 30 fights all up in my career.
Professional fights, or just like fights in general?
Fights in general. So I was professional for about the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that over a 9-year period, 10-year period of fighting. So weight cutting like 3 times a year.
Okay. Yeah. So about standard what the guys do today.
About standard, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a period where I broke my foot, I got injured. You always get injured, so you'll have some back to backs and all that sort of stuff. But I had about a year off because I broke my foot. But then I also had a period of time where I did, I think it was like 3 or 4 fights in 6 weeks or something. Because we went to overseas, we come back, we fought, went overseas and fought, come back and fought. It was good.
And when you do that, do you try to keep your weight down through those 6 weeks because you know you've got another fight coming up?
To an extent. Yeah, to an extent. Weight cut or keeping my weight down was never that tough.
Yeah,
for me because I was super skinny anyway. It was always the last 4 or 5 kilos, and that was always going to be more for me. Now with the science behind it, probably wouldn't be if I did it properly as per what these guys do now. But back then it was pure war. Yeah, so I just sit in the sauna or do whatever. Hate life.
Yeah.
Hate life in a sauna.
Yeah, fully. And do you think that now, because of the science, the way it is, your weight cut, you fight at a lower weight?
I wouldn't have fought at a lower weight. To be fair, I probably would have fought at a higher weight, but I just would have done it smart.
Yeah.
I fought at 66 kilos. I had to be under 66.6. Mm-hmm. That was where I felt the most comfortable. I would happily fight at 68, but I preferred 66. Just had a little bit. It made me train a bit harder. A
bit more edge.
I felt that I was a bit bigger at that weight too, so it was more psychological for me than anything else. It wasn't like any softer. It just felt big.
And what were you walking around at?
Say like just before my weight cut, I'd be around 71. Yeah, if I was around 71 to 70, I felt good. I knew I could get that.
It's about 5-6 kilos.
5 kilos, yeah. So, which nowadays it's a little silly, but if you're doing more than 2 kilos, you sort of look at, it's sort of frowned upon now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got it really, really good now.
Mm.
Water loading and all that sort of stuff. It's dropping salt on this day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you were 19 when you walked in that gym, or 18, 19.
Yep.
And then how many years until you felt like you're at a level where you could start fighting professional?
Probably around 23. Yeah,
4 years.
24. That's probably 24. Yeah, even a little bit like late 24.
Yeah.
I was super lucky. So when I was there, I had Pixie, who was a guy called Ben Bird. Pixie, everyone knows him.
Yeah.
He battered me from pillar to post. So my mentality was, if Aaron Lee, Pixie Bird, and another guy, Danny Dudowski, if there's nothing that the guy standing in front of me can't do that these guys are probably done to me. So that jump to professional wasn't as daunting, I suppose, as it may have been had I not had those guys around, because I was sparring the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about who you train with and the culture that.
Yeah.
Because you guys are a pretty tight knit group.
Oh, there was 7 of us, 7 at the time, at the height of when I was fighting. We had 7 Australian champs in the gym, 7 current Australian champs, which I could be wrong. I don't believe any other gym has had something similar. So Nuggets Jimmy and Brizzy is phenomenal, and they were right there with us at the time.
Like your rival gym?
Oh no, I wouldn't say rival, because we were quite like us and Nuggets boys. Like, we still see each other. We're still certainly not rivals.
Yeah,
healthy competition, I would say.
Yeah, and so were you traveling a lot to fight?
I was really fortunate. So I got what does Craig Jones say? It's the Goldilocks.
Yeah,
that Goldilocks period.
Yeah,
I was just in this perfect little bubble. So I would just, if I'm honest, I'd just go up the back of Pixie's coattails or Aaron's coattails, and they'd need a 66 kilo fighter over in Hong Kong. Fight whoever it was. Didn't bother. Yep, no problem. Dan will go. Sweet. So I got to travel. I got to London, Hong Kong 4 times, Japan, Vanuatu. Yeah, there was a bunch of places that we got to travel because, Mark was just that way inclined with the international promoters, and we had a good gym and we had a good name. So it was really fun.
Yeah, that age is super appealing too, just to be able to travel.
Yeah.
Did you have sponsors?
Mm-mm. No, that was the hard bit, because I was still working full time too, and like 10, and I had a mortgage and all that sort of stuff, so money wasn't exactly rushing through the door. So me going overseas, particularly getting paid peanuts to fight, it was never about financial gain for me. It was always about wanting to be better and wanting to be a better fighter.
Yeah, like personal development.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I wanted. If I died tomorrow, all I'd ever want, in regards to that, in all the belts, the trophies, whatever, stick them away. All I'd ever want anyone to say is that dude fight.
Yeah.
That dude was pretty good. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, mate, at that time in my life, it was good fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, these days, the guys doing what you were doing with the Muay Thai scene and all that, are they sort of run the same way? Like, do they still have to work, or are they?
So Chad doesn't.
Yeah.
But again, he's the best that we've got.
Yeah.
James is working part-time. Pete's working part-time, or sort of full-time-ish, full-time hours, but kind of the split shifts and all that sort of stuff.
Around his training.
It is exceedingly difficult now to be at that top echelon and have to work with full-time gig.
Yeah, of course.
It's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot more people, like, outside of that gym who would be professional per se, like they don't have to work, and
that's right.
They have the facilities to.
Yeah, and when we were kind of like Pixie himself, not so much. Pixie did it for ages, but when we were fighting together, we were both working full time. So was Aaron. So was Danny. Everyone. There wasn't anyone that I knew outside of Nathan and Wayne, essentially Siren, who were full time.
Yeah.
And certainly not making that. Like Wayne made a good. There was a little bubble there with K1 and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did pretty well.
K1, is that a club promotion?
That was a Japanese promotion.
Yeah. That's still going, K1?
It was recently. It's pulled up now. There's moved into Glory, like what Alex Pereira was fighting on.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was the Glory shows,
which
were apparently paying quite well. I don't know. I kind of let it go for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how old were you when you stopped doing that?
Late in my 27, like late, nearly 28.
And by that time, you had kids and all that, and it was just time.
It was. That's not quite right. I got offered, like I said, money wasn't running through the door.
Yeah.
And if I'm completely honest, I was just sick of living week to week.
Yeah.
And then I got offered a gig where I was getting paid like literally 4 times what I was getting paid here in WA.
Right.
So Tan and I weighed up and we were like, let's go have a crack at this and try and get ahead. And that's what we did. So I hung the gloves up, as they say.
Yeah.
And there's no regrets though. I hated the weight cuts.
Yeah.
I love training. I still love training. Hated the weight cuts so bad. And the pressure I put on myself. Tanya will attest to this.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting out on the back there. What am I doing this for? What am I doing?
Yeah. It's hard to justify as well when you're not getting paid and you're still having to work full time. And
yeah,
I mean, that's probably why a lot of people hang it up.
Yeah, my biggest concern was that I'd get my leg kicked, especially fighting when I started fighting like a good guy. I'd get my leg kicked and it'd break, and then I'd be off work for months. I'm like, I'm going to survive financially.
Yeah, it's so hard. There must be so many people in that same boat.
Yeah. And then you get the lunatics who just don't care, like the Aaron Lees of the world, who would literally just kick concrete posts just for the sake of it to win a fight.
And he was doing the same, Aaron?
Aaron was working full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all sort of doing the same work?
No. So, yeah, everyone, we were all, me, Pix, Az, work, and Brody, we were all, and Jimmy, labour-intensive jobs.
Yeah.
Danny was more office-based that time. He's now labour-intensive.
Do you reckon that took a toll?
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
For me personally, I actually seen it as, to an extent, like another session.
Yeah, well, I was watching a documentary on the, both bodybuilders and like the strongman guys, and I think it was the strongman guys, and they were all saying if you want to succeed at something like this, and you obviously are already strong, go get a labour job.
Yeah,
like just be a labourer or like a really intense job, and then finish that for the day, and then go and work out.
Yeah, and
do that every day, all year, and that's how you progress, because it's like, what do they call, farmer strength?
Yeah,
I believe it. I think it's.
Oh, look, I think that it does a lot for your psychology too. You've just worked a good hard day, you've earned an honest dollar, and then you're going to put your ass on the line at a boxing gym. I think it does instill again those good values that potentially, some people might be missing out on. Yeah,
you can line up against an opponent and be like, yeah, well, I'm probably tougher than you.
Yeah, yeah. There's, and it's psychological.
It's absolutely psychological.
So yeah, it was. I don't know. It was good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then, so how long were you in WA for?
All up, I was in WA for nearly 12 years.
Oh, that long in WA?
Yeah. So we lived there for nearly just on 2 years. I started a little boxing gym over there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was just in the backyard, just a couple of mates. We made a makeshift ring, and I was training every day with them. I was more coaching as opposed to training. And then did the FIFO, did fly and fly out for years.
Yeah.
I was doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for years. And although very good, it was exceedingly hard to get some sort of consistency, especially with grappling.
Yeah. Is that what you were sort of aiming for? You just wanted to still have that culture that you had back here and still be training and developing?
Yeah, the shiny lights of 2 and 2, the 2 weeks off, really appealed to me.
Yeah.
What I didn't, to be honest, what I didn't really look at the time was the 2 weeks over, really long time away. And it's a really long time, one, away from the family. It's a really long time away from doing, if you're learning a new skill, to try and pick that up for 2 weeks and then go away for 2 weeks. It's, especially as you're getting older, it does become very difficult.
Yeah, especially with a young family too.
Yeah.
At the time, because I haven't done it, but I imagine 2 weeks onto it, it can be appealing, but then it's like you playing catch up the whole time you're back for 2 weeks.
I was the party guy and again, Tam will testify. I was the party guy, not the party guy. I was the fun dad when I come home.
Yeah.
So like the first 3 or 4 days, and Tam just, rightly so, just said, "You've got to stop doing this shit. This is ridiculous." She was being mother and father. I'm just the guy that they come to have fun and eat shit and whatever. So we found our rhythm. We found our groove after about 18 months of me doing it. And then once we found that groove, it kind of worked, and it worked well for a long time. And then COVID pretty well stopped everything.
Yeah, okay. Because that's basically when we met through.
Yeah.
Like that's when Kirk and I started doing jiu-jitsu, and then we started hanging out with you pretty soon after that, about the COVID era. So let's talk that for a bit. Come back. Where does Mackay come in?
That was when Mackay came in. So COVID hit, and then I got locked down in WA for nearly 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a phone call from my big boss, and he said I was looking after a workshop at the time. And he rang me and he said, "You got to ring all your supervisors and get them to ring their teams. We just got the heads up that WA is going to get locked down." And they were getting their information about 48 hours before the media, it was breaking the media.
Yeah.
And it wasn't gospel. It was, we think this might happen. So then, and things would obviously have to marinate and work out. So he just said, "Hey, look, everyone from the East Coast needs to basically get over here in the next 48 hours and book your flights. If you want your family to come, we'll pay for your family to come. They can relocate the whole bit." And I was like, "Sweet." I went back to town and said, "Hey, we're moving to WA." And me just being like a dick, just uprooting my family from, what they know and for my benefit. So I got about, so Tam was like, "Yep, no problem, I'll just come and support you." And then she did, and she's always done. And then about 14 hours from my flight, I just had this light bulb moment and just went, "I just can't talk to it."
Oh wow!
And I was just like, I've got to do this. I'm the provider, I suppose you'd say. I've got to do this for myself. I can't leave these guys in WA in a place that they don't know, and I'm going to be away for half the time anyway. At least, and it was so unknown through COVID.
Yeah.
So, that kind of, I was just like, "Tan, you're staying here." She's like, "Okay." Didn't take much convincing. She's like, Thank goodness. And then, so she stayed, and then I got locked down over there for 4 months. And one of my best mates, who was my boss at the time, he's like, "How you going?" I said, "Honestly, I don't like it." I said, "I'd rather just be on site the whole time and just work, because when I'm working, I don't feel guilty."
Yeah.
And then I got offered a job in Mackay. So he didn't line it up. He just said, "Look, there's a gig coming up over there. You'd be suited for it. It's right up your alley." Did the interview, got the job. Like, they rang me back in like 24 hours, which is unheard of in PHP. And then moved up there like maybe 6 weeks later.
So with the family?
With the family.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was a residential role.
Yep.
And then, went to Mackay, did my thing up there. Met Pete.
Yep.
Met Mackay MMA. Met Dave Garman, Tony Garman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were, probably between Pete, Dave, and Tony, they were really the only reason we stayed there as long as we did.
How long was that?
Nearly 2 years again. Yep. Like this 2-year thing.
Yeah, that's good. Good amount of time.
Yeah, and then certain things happened, and certain fallouts happened with my leadership, and I just said enough. And, at that stage, we had Albie, so I took my parental leave.
Yep.
And then I just got my stuff in order.
Yep.
And then come back home and did my own business.
Yep. It was time.
It was premature, but it was time. My hand was to an extent forced.
Yep.
So I had to make it work.
Yep.
I couldn't continue doing what I was doing up there. So I just made it work down here.
Yep. And then here you are.
Here I am.
I love it.
Got it.
So when you were in Mackay, you sort of built those roots with Mackay MMA, and the guys took you in, and you really enjoyed the vibe up there. And
I did.
Taking a coaching role? Mentor?
More mentor to Pete.
Mentor to Pete.
Yeah, so Dave's probably the best MMA coach I've seen.
Okay.
He was phenomenal what he did. Very unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
Really good grappling black belt himself. He was our black belt, obviously. But the way he could break things down, I think we had a similar look or take on things. And then I'd started holding. So first night was there, Pete belted me, as Pete does. And I didn't get the shit out of myself.
Striking? This is
No.
Oh, grappling. Okay. That makes sense.
So good, and then we had. I always believe you got to show, you can't just go in and go, I can teach you this, whatever. I hadn't started maybe years. Anyway, I thought I've got to go down there and move around with some of these guys just to show that I'm not a complete spastic.
Yep.
And so I lined Pete up and I punched holes in like you've just repeated me about 900 times.
Yeah.
Got him back. He and then from that point forward, he actually comes to me and goes, "Hey, can you work with me?" And I said, "Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely." So we kind of cut a deal where I would help him striking, and he'd just hammer me with submissions.
Yeah,
I don't know how fair a deal it was in the end, but he's I enjoyed it. His work ethic is really good, and just a good dude to do it. So
yeah, and with athletes and younger men as well, if they're coming to you from someone who just beat the shit out of them,
he wanted to learn.
He's like, okay, well that's the guy I've got to learn off. And that's the mindset that you want to sort of surround yourself with.
Yeah,
that's what I believe we've got now. Like all the people with someone smashing up.
Yeah,
that's the person you got to
absolutely
go to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then that just so from Mackay MMA, when you moved down here, that's when Pete started coming down.
So we always kind of stayed in touch. He had a couple of fights, so he'd fly me home, promoted, fly me home, I'd call him for his fights, and I'd break down videos of him doing pads, and then where we could meet up, we would, and I'd take him through pad sessions, bits and pieces like that. And yeah, that was that. And then I said to him, look, Dave sold the gym. I'd left, and then the other really good grappler up there, Jake, who was training with us, he was giving Pete a really hard time. He'd submit Pete a couple of times around, and then at the start, and then him and Pete was super competitive, but Jake would always sort of get the upper hand. Yeah. He left as well, so I left, Jake left, Dave sold the gym, so it was quite a massive change of scenery for Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst he had us there, and had we have stayed there, I believe he could have done exceedingly well. But he didn't have that moving forward. I'm not saying what likely they don't have quality in that. the guys up there now, Danny Moulder, who owns the Fighter, he does a fantastic job. Pete is at a different level to the guys at the gym, and it was very hard for him in a country town to get to get the rounds that he needed to get back.
To get to where he wanted to go.
To get to where he wanted to go. So I said, mate, I've got all the contacts you need down here. You and I have been training with him for 18 months. Mm-hmm. Strikeforce doesn't doesn't let anyone in off the street in their fighters class.
Really? It's like
you got to prove your worth, and I fortunately enough, I speak mine.
Yeah.
And we got him in there, and he's even holding pads for him tonight. He's taken a little leap. It's really good. So, like I said at the start, he could, and I'm biased.
Yeah.
And I've said this from the start, and Dave has said it as well. So it's Tony. He can do what he wants. He just needs to put his head together.
You're biased, but you've also seen a lot. You've seen a lot of bodies and a lot of people in the way they strike and that, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm so stoked that he's rhythm now training with.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a good room. Everyone's like, it's a super good breeding ground for training and developing and that. But it's just having something like that is like next level.
Yeah. And Ryan brings a really calm edge to it. I know, like, we can probably get a little bit out of hand at times. We get a little bit excited.
Yeah.
But Ryan has that. He has that ability just to sort of calm it down a little bit, or if he wants to see it, he can sort of raise it up too. So,
that's why we're there.
Yeah,
because we need that.
Yeah.
I've always needed that. I've always, my whole life, doing anything I ever do, like slow down, man.
Yeah,
like just calm down.
I've noticed.
Yeah. I understand it.
The best thing I've ever seen is you running down to the beach that day with all step offs and you screaming at me.
Yeah.
Like 400 metres and you're waving the yellow board.
Come and get
me. Yes, mate, I'm coming.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fun.
Yeah, I love that. So on that, actually, I'm going to know a bit. You want a bit?
Yeah, please.
Just chill. I'll cut this bit out. Oh, fuck. Hang on, I've got to fix that now. Yeah, we thought because you've obviously been around the beach your whole life and surfing and all that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started like really getting into the jet ski side of things? Because that's pretty much what you do now.
Yeah, well, it was funny. Cougar said, someone asked Cougar the other day, just something about how, does he surf with me much or whatever? And Cougar, I don't know how it come up. It's like, I've actually never seen Dan paddle.
I was there.
Well, yeah, it's actually a fair point. When was it? I got my first ski maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, I went out on my best mate's ski. I went out on Mark's ski, and actually with Az, and come in. I just said, Az, this is, and as it was living with me at the time, I was like, man, we got to do something with this.
It's a better way to surf.
Way better.
Yeah.
And like at the time, I was making good money with BHP, so I said to my wife, excuse me, I said to Tan, I'm going to ski. She's like, hey. She's like, okay.
That was easy.
Yeah. So next time I come home, I said, Az, we've got to do our ski license. So we did. And then the following time I come home, I bought a ski. Like I bought a ski when I was there and I picked it up the first day I got home. And then Azza and I went out the first time and we sucked the rope up into the impeller at Stratty.
Yeah.
Almost. So we broke down within 40 minutes of using a jet ski for the first time.
Oh, really? I mean, you know what? That's actually kind of got to happen in order to learn how to drive a jet ski properly, I believe.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I actually kind of grew up with a jet ski. My dad bought one when I was about 16, 17. I had a jet ski license before I could drive.
Yep.
And I like I was always under guidance, driving the jet ski and that. And then I remember I think I was 17 or 18. I got my dad working in life too, so he was away. And it was a big swell at the alley. Normally cougars have got a bit of cougar come going, but he was away working too. So I was just there. I'm like, all right, and I'm a local at Crumman, so I knew a few of the gun surfers there, and they were just there checking the surf, and they knew I had a ski. And what are you doing? Like, let's go get a ski. I'm like, all right, let's go get it. Didn't even ask Dad. I knew he would have said yes, but I didn't ask him. And it was like big. It was like 10 foot. And me and two of the boys they were both sponsored by Rip Curl at the time, and they were really good surfers. Just went boom. Didn't even think about it. Just went and got ski. My old man was living on the he was living on Crumman Creek at the time, so we just launched at his joint. Went straight out. Didn't even think about it, and then we surfed. Got really good waves for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was kind of getting weird, so we're about to call it. And the last wave we got, I stepped one of the boys off, and he was like psychopath. He was like, "We're going deeper. We're going deeper." And then I stood him off on the rock. First wave of the set, he dislocated his shoulder. And then I'm like, okay, sweet. So I went in to grab him. And at the time, I was just started lifeguarding too. And beaches were closed, but lifeguards were watching some. And I'm 18, just freaking out. And I went in to grab him. As I went to grab him, I had the lanyard on my wrist. Went to grab him, lanyard, jet ski died. It was like 10 footers coming towards me. I went to grab him. Honestly, all I had to do was be like, okay, put the kill switch back in, start the thing, and get out of there. Because I was just trying to help him on the mat. And I didn't. I was just like, move. But I had a brand new board on the side of the ski, snapped. And the ski at that time, because I was retarded, it didn't have any tie downs on anything. Like, it didn't have a strap for the seat, didn't have a tie down for the latch at the front, like nothing. So it just got ripped apart. It got taken up, ripped apart, like the engine got flooded. It washed up at 7th Harbour Palmy. It was heavy, and my dad was working in the mines. It was left for another couple of weeks, but so that's what I mean. And from then, I fixed the ski. I had a bit of money at the time because I had a permanent job at the council. And I was lifeguarding, so I was like the richest 18-year-old at that time. Definitely not anymore, but like at the time, I was loaded. Didn't have to pay rent, nothing. I had money, so I just paid all my money I had to this dude to fix the ski. And then I called Dad once the ski was fixed. But then from then on, I got straps and latches, and then I was like, madam, my priority to learn how to drive a ski then. That was like it. I remember calling Cougar and telling him, he's just like, man, I can't believe you just did that. I was like, I went around to my mate's place just still shaking all day, shaking. And then that night I went around to my mate's place and had a beer, and I was just like, I don't know what I just did. That's going to fucking kill me. But full circle, I think that those situations, especially driving a ski, it's a pretty intense environment, I guess, to drive a ski, like especially if you're in 10-foot waves in the impact zone and all that shit.
It can be.
And that's from then that's when I started lifeguarding more, and I started working on jet skis, and then I got good enough, and they let me drive a ski as a quickie, and then I was sweet. Then I was like, okay, But unless I had that moment, I wouldn't have done the things I did to get better at driving a ski. It's kind of like everything.
I remember watching Mark. It was it was so big, and I was like, he rang me, and he rarely used to ring me. I'd always be hassling him, and he's like, hey, we're on. I got to his house at like 3:45. I was so pumped, ready to go. And I remember it was like right off the front, and it wasn't our turn. There was someone in between us, and they went to go and then hesitated, and so Mark's like, yeah, we're on. And then they called us off it. And I remember watching Mark come down, but then flick the ski, and I was done. Like, I didn't even feel like I was going to fall off. He's like fully flicked the ski like back and just got us out of trouble. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what it takes. And like, I got a couple of stoinkers that day. I got fucking lit up on a couple of them.
Yeah.
I shit myself on the first one. And then, like, I sort of got watching it, come up, and Mark was like on top of me. I was like, oh, like that's what it's like having to just get
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
And I did that with Cougar the other day. I was like, when we surfed last time, I was like, I sort of challenged myself to when he'd step off, get him on. I had to get to him in his surf or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, it was fun. You sort of challenge yourself with walls.
Yeah, and that's what I started doing. Like, I didn't really have many days after that where I went on ski without Cougar or someone who I really trusted.
Yeah,
on the ski.
That's the thing. You need that person that you trust.
Yeah, and it also teaches you a lot to calm down when you're in that situation. Because like on reflection, what I just told you is like I could have just chilled for 2 seconds, put the fucking kill switch back in, started it, and I would have been out of there.
Yeah.
But just because I've seen these sets coming, I just stopped and froze.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty heavy, isn't it? It's good though. Grappling does that though. So I think grappling's a really good way to control yourself. You get put in shit spots. You freak out and it makes it so much easier.
It does. Yeah, grappling's done a lot for me. Life taught me how to calm down a bit. Like taught me how to be honest with how I react in certain situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now with like where you are with grappling, you train the boys at Triforce.
Yeah.
Man, I reckon it should be what you do if you have come through a certain club with and had certain amount of success and built a certain rapport with the club. You should give back. You know,
well,
I think it's such a good thing what you do.
Yeah. Like this, so Mark was more of like a second sort of father figure, older brother to me. Excuse me. When I was fighting, he spoke at our wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So him and Aaron spoke at our wedding.
Yeah.
So it's natural for me to want to give back to that.
Yeah.
And I always still look to Mark for advice. Like I'd be holding pads, and I'm always going, "Hey, what do you reckon about this?" He's like, "Oh, yep, try this." And like the guy's he really good at what he does.
Yep.
Obviously, he's trained so many champs over the years and built them from nothing. So, yeah, giving back. I very quickly recognised after coming back from Mackay that you'll get there.
Yeah.
That you can't do what you used to be able to do.
Yeah.
What the mind wants to do and what the body is able to do are two very significantly different things. And the injuries that I've accumulated, particularly with my knee and my elbow, knees and my elbow, it does prevent me from doing certain things. So taking more of that mental role, even like from a mindset perspective with you guys, before you call it fighting, before you compete in grappling.
I know it's not fighting.
Yeah. Doing that. I think I've got something to give back, and if people are willing to take it on, I think there's something in it. What I really like at Strikeforce at the moment is the respect piece there that these guys have for one another, but also for the older guys that have been there and fought before, not done what they've done because they're far more accomplished than most of the guys that come through with us. But just the respect piece.
Yeah.
They will. I was doing pads with Chad Collins tonight, and he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
That is super respectful. Yeah. Speaks to everyone like they're his best friend, like he's known him forever. And James is much the same. It's just a good place to be.
Yeah, it's the type of environment you want to surround yourself in, like those types of people that like-mindedness of the respect thing for sure. Like I think that is pretty much the main reason why we are at Rhythm now with me, Cougar, and Jaden was the first one he was a combat.
Yeah.
And we're all Cougar, Jaden and I always trained together in the garage or backyard or whatever. And then Jaden was kind of gym hopping.
Yeah.
And then he always followed Ryan around.
Yeah.
Ryan is who he is, and we respect the shit out of him.
Yeah.
For the things that he's done, how good he is, and all that. And when Jaden found out that he was opening up his own gym. He's like, wait, and then Ryan for a long time as well.
I've grown up with Ryan. We weren't super tight, but we'd always known each other.
Yeah.
We were in the same, we went through the same grade at school. We weren't at the same school, but Gold Coast is a small place. He's a Gold Coast local. I'm a local. There's very few of us left.
Yeah.
But I remember he trained at Legacy a couple of times.
Yeah, I was there.
I remember just going, this guy's so good, and he was so helpful.
Yeah.
So it was the right time for me, and it was the right fit.
Yeah.
And you were, I can't remember where you were, but I remember saying to you, hey, something like, what are you doing? Do you want to, no pressure? I think this would be a good fit. I think it would be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And he came down the first night. He's like, really good.
Actually, you want to know the story about what happened? This is exactly what happened. I know the exact time you're talking about. I was at work. I was doing a day shift. Jaden called me that he'd just been training there. And he said, we all need to train in the same spot. This is where we need to train.
Yep.
And pretty much convinced me on that phone call.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay. I've got to call Cooter and see what he reckons. Didn't know that he was going in that night.
Yeah, right.
And as I was on the phone with Jaden, the bells rang at work. I went out for a rescue at Binnaburra.
Yeah.
And ended up being there until like 1 at night.
No way.
I was like, it's just a walk-in rescue. It's compound fracture. And I got back the next day. Cooter called me the next day and said, hey, I'm going to rhythm. That's it. I'm signing up like tomorrow. I was like, oh, sweet, me too. Like, I didn't even... And that was it. But it was just happened, like, and it must have been the day that you...
I took him down that night before, and I was just like, this is... Because Tui wanted... Like, Tui and I have been pretty tight a little bit now, and Tui had been hassling me for so long.
Yeah.
Not hassling, but he's like, bro, any problem.
Yeah.
And, But a little bit of backstory, like there's other stuff that happened with it. Nothing bad, whatever. Legacy at the time, when I did it, I've got all respect in the world for those guys and for what I've learned. And at the time, when I started, it was the right deal for me.
I'm extremely glad I started there because my fundamentals are good because of them.
Yeah. I just wanted something. I wanted to change. I really like the no-gi aspect. I don't particularly like it. And Ryan's incredible no-gi. The way he teaches. I think you need it. And I go back to Mark. Mark and I had a really good rapport, and I succeeded because of it. That different aspects, different parts of my life, a bit older, I'd like to think I'm sure. Ryan has that same sort of influence over people. You can see it as what Mark did back with that with our striking piece. So that gym has a quite a bright future in my opinion with the young guys like yourself, Coogs, Jaden.
Even the younger guys that are there now as well.
Oh man,
they're all red hot. Like there's no easy rolls anymore. Everyone's really good, and everyone is open to learning different things by different people.
Yeah.
Asking the right questions doesn't like it used to be where you could only learn shit off a higher belt, which I'm always going to ask higher belts.
There was merit. Yeah, there was merit in that at the time. But there's a whole anything that anyone's teaching you can be seen on the internet.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, and it was the same as striking back in the day. You do some stuff and you bring it over from Thailand. You go to Thailand and you bring it back and it's like, no one knows about this. This will catch everyone out, whatever. It's not like that anymore. You've got to be good at everything. If you want to be a world champion striker, you have to be good at quite literally everything because everyone knows what you're going to do. You've got tape on you. Like, I'll sit down with James before his next fight and we'll study the shit out of this guy with his fight.
Yeah.
We'll know exactly what he's going to bring. Between me, James, and Mark, obviously Mark is the boss. He'll say his final. And Mark will emulate a fight plan squat pretty easily. I've just got to hold pads to suit.
Yeah.
So obviously going to go out there and fight.
Execute, yeah. And then vice versa. That guy's doing the same thing to you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And if you're not doing it, you're going to get left out.
Yeah.
That's where the sports are now. That's where it is. Like, you look at what we did at Byron.
Yeah.
Cougar had 5 or 6 sets of eyes watching who he was going to roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's
life's progressing so quick.
It's evolved. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I love it. Like, I mean, that's a big reason why I started this too. Is because I just, you know, I might not be a professional, but I just want to be part of it.
Yeah.
It's like you're either going to be part of it or you're going to be out of it.
Yeah.
It's like you may as well just be in it.
Like I said before, I've really taken a step back now, and I understand my role as much as it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I know I can't compete with you guys. I'll give you a hard role. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
I do whatever. For some guys, Cougar, it's getting a little hard.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm really, really enjoying that more mentoring piece.
Yeah,
it's something that I I wish I had more of that when I was coming through. I didn't, unfortunately, but only because the sport was kind of green back then anyway. So, the guys that had done it,
mate,
they were still doing it.
There's not many people who are willing to take on that role too. Like, we appreciate shit of it, mate.
No, it's cool
because there's not many people who equipped enough to do it, like, and have had the experience where they can put it on. But then there's also people that have had that. There's not as many people who are willing to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's coming from personal experience, but it's like, yeah, the people that you do that to, we are all super thankful for it. And I assume it's the same in struggle.
Oh, like I said to you before, it's the respect piece down there. I truly, I've never been financially driven. It's a really poor thing, really.
No, I don't think it should be.
It shouldn't ever be. If you genuinely have a passion for it, it's different if you got to make a living, and that's what you're making a living on. You can make a living on your passion, no doubt about it. But for me, this is my work, and then I have my play,
your hobby,
and it's genuinely my passion.
Yep.
I love Muay Thai. I love it. I always have. The first day that I walked in there, even after the fucking 6 weeks of walking up and down lines and fucking kicking a bag till my shins would bleed,
yeah,
I still love it. Getting belted after I get 2 horrific belting horrific belt, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
at the time it sucked ass.
Yeah,
but a week later it's like,
I mean, that's when you know, isn't it? When you have a hard roll and you get belted, or you have a hard spar and you get belted.
You get belted.
If you love it and you're like, okay, I genuinely enjoy the fact that just happened, and then I can get better from it. And that's how you know.
Yeah, and I think if you love it, you tend to take that on and then go, well, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, because
this is such a big part of my life. Well, I've got to learn from it, so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
and that's how you progress.
Agreed.
Cool. Yeah, but yeah, the mentoring role, the respect down there at the moment is phenomenal. Mark's done such a phenomenal job with those guys down there, and where the gym's at, it's just a privilege that I get to go down and just be part of it at the moment. It's good. It's good.
Oh, Dan, I appreciate the fuck out of you, mate. Fucking end on that.
Me too.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you, brother. Have a good one.